Today we are going to talk about financial tips for young adults because learn how to manage your money. It's very important if you want to achieve things in your life. That's why we are going to address in this podcast today this important topic. And remember that managing your finances as a young adult can be challenging. I know, especially when you are just starting out on your own. However, building good financial habits early can set you up for a more secure and stress-free future. Here are some essential tips that to help you take control of your money. Um, um, because it's very important that you learn how to manage this your financial life. Um, because remember that our future is constantly changing. Uh, every time comes with a new challenge. So it's important that we learn how to manage our money. Okay, let's address this. Number one, create a budget and stick to it. A budget helps you understand where your money is going. Track your income and expenses and make sure you are spending less than you earn. Use apps or a simple spreadsheets to stay organized. Why it's so important that you create a budget? Because mm, most of the time we used to spend things we used to spend money on things that we don't need. uh, Sometimes we buy things based on our emotions, and when we realize we have spent huge amounts of money based on our emotions. And I would say that this is something curious because the system is I would say the system is like taking advantage of this. Um, that's why we need to learn how to build our budget. Because if you do that, uh, you know where your money will go, and you can allocate better your resources. And now let's continue with the step two. Build an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable. Having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved in emergency fund can protect you from unexpected costs like medical bills, car repairs, or job loss. Um, and that is very important that you learn how to that you build your emergency fund because e- even though you are investing your money, it's very important you have your emergency fund because you don't know the future. You don't know what are the challenges that will come. So my advice is that you learn how to create your budget. Sorry, my advice is that you learn how to build your emergency fund. Uh, this is very important because we don't know when a relative of us is going to get sick, or we are going to have an emergency, or something goes wrong. So I would say that this is very important. So you need to learn how to build an emergency fund. Um, and it's very important that you have uh, to, from 3 to 6 months on savings. Um, and that's it. Um, and for example, I'm going to share with you a little experience. Uh, like 1 week ago, I when I'm going to work, I had to take the two cars. I would say cars, yeah. The first one you have to pay with money, and the second one you have to pay with a target. And I remember specifically that day that I don't know where my mind was, but I had ready the money for the first one, for the first bus, and I remember that I pay with that money. But once I needed to use the target to to get in the second transportation, I didn't have my target. I realized that I didn't have my target, and I was worried. But suddenly I remember that I had some money on my on something that is called Tabi Plata here in Colombia. So I had to go to the mall center and do cash out. Um, Imagine that was my emergency fund. So that's why it's very important that you learn how to build your emergency fund. Okay, now now we are going to address the number 3 point. Avoid unnecessary debt. Credit cards can be helpful, but they can also lead to high interest debt. Use credit wisely. Pay off the balance each month and avoid loans for things you don't truly need. So, so it's very important that you learn how to allocate your money in a better way, and that means that you are not going to go through debt, because if you go through debt, you know that you will have to pay a kind of interest, and this is bad for you because you're not saving money. Sometimes we allocate that money on things that we don't even need. So please be careful with debt. And let's address so quick in a very quick way the number 4 point. And the number 4 point is start saving your retirement early. Okay, the earlier you start saving, the more time your money has to grow. Even a small contribution to a retirement account will will make a big difference. Number four, number fifth, educate yourself about money. Take time to learn about financial topics like investing, taxes, and managing credit. There are many free resources online, including podcasts, books, and videos. So, if you learn to educate yourself about money, this is going to give you an advantage regarding to others because you will take better decisions based on this. You will take better decisions based on this, and you will manage your money in a better way. So if you educate yourself about money, you will have a better future. This is going to be very good for you and for the people that is around you. I mean your family. So that is very important. You allocate your resources to learn about the money because in that way you will avoid um, bad debt and and for sure you will invest in education and this is going to bring more money. I can assure you that. So if you are still here with me, thank you for listening to this podcast and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great and wonderful day. Bye.